All right, so back in the 1880s, three people decided to go on an excavation. They were all fascinated with Native American history. The place that they were looking was in Sayre in Pennsylvania. It was in Bradford County, Pennsylvania. So again, around the 1880s, three people. One of them was from the Presbyterian Church. His name was Dr. P.G. Donho. And then there were two scientists, A.B. Skinner and W.K. Moorhead. They decided to go on an excavation of burial mounds. Again, fascinated with Native American history. So they dug up the mounds, found some skeletons that looked like they were from around the time of about 1200 AD. This is 1880. So at this point, we're talking about, 600 years old, a little more. Then they noticed something about the skeletons. Well, first they were all male. That was the first thing they noticed, is that all of the skeletons were all males. Second thing they noticed were over 7 feet tall, which was strange. In an archaeological site of that age, to find a tall male was strange. To find a group of males that is at least 7 feet tall, that's unheard of. Still would be to this day unheard of to find a group of people all over 7 feet tall. That's an extraordinary find. So then they noticed, to go even further, that all of the skulls had horns. Not horns glued on or pasted on or jabbed in the skulls. They weren't animal horns for some sacrificial or tribute to a god or anything like that. No. These horns were growing, or I should say grew, out of these skulls. So we now have a group of 7 foot tall men buried in a mound, all of them having horns. So of course they lose their minds, because it just shouldn't exist, period. We all know that something like this should not exist. So they send the skulls back, or the skeletons back, to of course be examined and all of that good stuff like that. So they sent it to the American Investigation Museum in Philadelphia for a closer examination. Of course, why wouldn't they? It was studied for several months. Baffled, confused, shocked scientists, their field completely shattered. And then these skulls were later claimed to have been lost, misplaced, or stolen from the museum. Now, in the initial reports, no one put anything crazy about their find. They said they found skeletons. They didn't say they were all 7 foot tall, and they didn't say anything about their horns. These skulls disappeared, were never seen again. And any secrets of the past and any secrets unlocking the future were forever gone to our knowledge. So the question is, and remains to this day, is, was any of it real? Was the story made up? The people are real. And the funny thing about the people is that one of the scientists, not WK, but the other guy, Skinner, A.B. Skinner, he actually died in a car wreck. Not too many years later, but he did die, going on another dig. Now, whether or not it's a coincidence, I don't know, but the other scientist, Moorhead, he actually died in Xenia, Ohio, which is only about 20 minutes away from me. So that's kind of crazy. That's just kind of crazy, I find, that he's so close. But it would make sense that his study seems like it was in Nephilim, to be honest. And it would only make sense that his field of study, or their field of study, would be around this area, because Nephilim, they're abundant through here. But He lived a long and happy life. He died at like 72. And I do believe that the priest, the churchman, who in my opinion had something to do with the disappearance of the skulls, that's just me. He seemed to have lived a long life as well. But maybe there's more to the meets the eye as to why this gentleman died. Maybe he fought the disappearance a little bit harder than his colleague. I don't know. But that is the end of his story. And the question remains, what happened to the skulls? What were the skulls? What were the people, if they were people? And what secrets were forever silenced in the cover-up? But if you ever see this skull, know that it is not a hoax. It is not CGI. It is not art. It indeed is a real skull. Let me know what you think, as usual.